Welcome, everyone, to the launch event. This is it. We've been waiting for this for so long, and now we're going to America. Welcome to the very first edition of the Customs Watch USA, your primary update service that is a weekly offering of the latest and greatest content related to customs in the US of A. Now, in this session, in this launch event, we are going to talk a little bit about why. Why do we need that? Aren't we inundated with updates on socials, on newsletters? Why do we need that? Why is this thing that we're doing here any different? And then we're going to go through it. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you the inaugural version, and I'm going to talk you through what we're actually doing here and why it matters and why you should be reading the Customs Watch every week. I'll give you top tips as to how long and when and how and what's best practice. And I'll show you what you can get out of it. We will also be talking about the Knowledge Hub. This is our content library where we put thought leadership pieces, ideas, updates, everything that you need to know to master customs in the US of A. And by the way, we already have two very successful magazines. One is the Customs Watch EU and UK, which covers EU-UK developments, and then the Export Controls and Sanctions Watch, which is dedicated to, you guessed it, export controls and sanctions updates from the EU, the UK, and the US. So there's one for this, okay? So today we're talking about the United States of America. And why are we launching this today on Monday, the 27th of January? We offer weekly updates that are written by professionals, customs professionals such as myself, with 20 years of experience. I am a customs manager practitioner, which means I've worked in companies from all sorts, whether it's consulting to trade automation or in company. So working with shipments, streamlining operations, determining HS codes, thinking about valuation, managing the supply chains from A to BS, and paying customs duties. I've done it all. So I think I know what I would like to read about. I know that the updates that I'm getting on LinkedIn, on socials are great, but there's one posted by someone, and I don't know what about all the other updates. There might be updates that I'm missing if I'm only relying on socials. Besides, if I'm not connected to socials all the time, I might miss yet another update. So I can't rely on socials because it pushes me at best subjective information by someone who wants to share something. But if this person shares information or decides not to share information, well, then I miss an important update if I only rely on socials. I also noticed that there is a problem with the newsletters we're getting. So I received a newsletter today, which was actually quite good because it had a line and a link. And that was it. And I thought that was great. I could click on it and then get the update. What was the problem? The problem is, first of all, I'm getting about 20 newsletters a day. I don't have time to read 20 newsletters. Secondly, I need to click on them all. So there's an update, I click on it, and then I get a blog, or I get a newspaper article, or I get a document, a 20 to 30, 40 page legislation. So I don't have time to read all that. I don't have mental capacity to understand all of these changes that are happening all the time. So there has to be a better way. And you remember, maybe that happened to you, but in my time as a customs practitioner, I come to the office at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and the boss stands there and says, Arnie, this happened. What does it mean for my business? What does it mean for our company? Please, in 30 minutes, be in my office. I am uniting the heads of all the departments, and you will debrief us. So in 30 minutes, I now have to create a PowerPoint presentation or an update. I have to read up on the latest developments of something that might have happened overnight. For example, take Colombia. Imagine you're getting imports from Colombia. You will have been in shock 2 nights ago, yesterday, and you will have been relieved this morning. We can't operate like that. No, it is not possible to constantly chase the updates, go to social media, browse the internet. And of course, you know what happens when you need some information. You're going to browse the internet. You're going to click on a link. It's going to give you another document, which links to another document. And before you know, the 30 minutes are up and you have progressed nothing because you got into a rabbit hole and you searched for information. You found something else and you had no time to think. It is based on this experience that people are sending you newsletter after newsletter to get you to buy something. They don't have necessarily your best interest at heart. They also don't give you the full picture. They give you selected pictures. So I got an update 2 days ago, 3 days ago, that said, there is a trade agreement with Chile, EU. And they said, and by the way, here is our training on free trade agreements. So they gave me this high-level information, but what I needed is not to know about the training. I needed to find the rules of origin to compare the product-specific rules of origin in the EU-Chile agreement with my goods that are coming from Chile, to see what are the rules of origin and am I meeting them. And just take this to the Trump world, the Trump 2.0 world. If tariffs are imposed, what you want to know is on which products and how much. And you will get pages and pages of commodity codes that you need to look through. You need to read the regulations. So we are all going to read the regulations. We all then will research on the internet for updates. And this is very inefficient because you are looking for the same information that I am looking for and that your neighbor is looking for. So you're spending an hour searching for tariffs. I'm spending an hour searching for tariffs. Everybody else is spending hours searching for tariffs. Why don't we pool it? Why don't we say one person to look at all the regs of the US in customs, put them in an update, and share it with the world? Why not? Because imagine what would happen if you had one document and you knew it was going to come out Monday at 3 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Brussels time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, every Monday. What would happen if you knew that we have just spent 16 hours to 20 hours every week to research everything that you could possibly want from customs? Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, Arnie, I do not need you to research everything because I am in bicycles. I trade in chemicals. I don't need to know about everything else. I get that. But that obviously is a little tricky. So if we did everything that changed over the last week, and we said to you, we're going to look everywhere and we're going to put it all in one document, and then give yourself 15 to 30 minutes every Monday and read this. It will be a comprehensive compilation of all the updates. And you can very quickly, without researching anything else, find out what mattered. You can find out for you, is there anything in chemicals today? Ooh, I'm importing stuff from China. Maybe I should check if there is any US ADD CVD imposed on goods from China. If that would be so, if you had that tool, that research, here's what would happen. First, you would save time because you don't need to search for it yourself because I already did the job for you. Second of all, if your boss comes and says, give me a briefing in 30 minutes, you have the customs watch. Because what I didn't tell you yet, not only do we research the thing, we also tell you what the updates is, and we're going to give you an executive summary of the update. We call it an explanatory note. So that means within a minute, you know what this update is all about, and you know and can judge if it is relevant or not based on that summary. And if it is important, you will see it, and then you can click on the link because you don't need to search the internet anymore because I have already done that. So all you then need to do is click on the link if you need to know more. Sometimes there is more that needs to be said. So I will create a blog entry where I'm explaining it to you. So that will then go to our knowledge library, and that is for you then to read, to deep dive if you want to. So what you come out with after reading the Customs Watch USA for 15 to 30 minutes, you will be an expert in what happened last week. And you will be able to go into any meeting and competently talk about the highlights of that. Example, somebody told you something happened with Colombia and tariffs, and that from yesterday, 25% Colombian tariffs on all imports from Colombia into the United States would be imposed. So you'd go to your boss and say, oh my God, big drama, we have to pay so much more. No, incorrect. Because overnight while you were sleeping, they found a deal and there's no more 25% from Colombia now. Okay, so we need to cover that. We need to make sure we inform you about this. Yeah, you can go on socials. Yeah, then you would be chasing social media after social media after social media. We check social media. Yes, we check Truth Social. Oh, yes. Is it pleasant? But we check the president's social calendar so we know what he is saying, and we are telling you in the Customs Watch. So, in other words, you will save time. You will be always in the know because you can trust that when this edition comes out, we will cover all grounds. You can now take this content and make it yours. You can copy it over. You can turn it into a PowerPoint presentation. You can make it yours and go to your bosses or make a newsletter out of it and then send it around to everybody, saving even more time. You can do with it what you want. I don't really care. The point is, this is designed for busy customs professionals so that you don't need to spend time or you need to hire someone else, some trainee or some manager, worse even, or a team that is there just to look for this information, which they probably won't do a good job of. Instead, you can trust people with 20 years of experience to do the work for you. And why do we do this? Because we need to do it anyway. I am running a successful consultancy business. I need to be up to date. So all I'm doing is I'm doing what I need to do anyway and giving it to you so that you don't have to do the research because I've already done it for you. All right. Are you ready to see it? You ready to go for it? I am ready to show you. So welcome to the first edition of the Customs Watch USA. Let me share my screen and let's go for it. So here you now see the Customs Watch USA. Now, don't expect a flashy magazine, please. Why? Because, hey, after all, this is for customs professionals. This is not supposed to be a fancy magazine where you read a lot of news. No, no, no. This is an update. So the update is designed to give you the information quick and fast without the pictures or fluff. We don't do that, right? We give you what you need to know. This is how it looks, okay? So edition 1 for week number 5 Okay, the period covered is this 1 week of the Trump administration. That's why we're launching it now, because it's a new presidency. So here we go. And it is published today. This is the maximum topic coverage. So every week, we will look at all of these topics for you. So if you are interested in any of these, we will look through the internet. We will look through the government websites. We will look through social media. We have subscribed to every newsletter that you can imagine. So you don't have to. You can sit and do strategy. You can work on saving the company money. Don't do the work I'm already doing for you. I will look at all of this for you. You can still read newsletters. You can still do everything you want, but you're going to get this as well. I'm going to cover the information from CBP, from the Federal Register, from the White House, from the U.S. Office of the Trade Representative, from the U.S. International Trade Commission, from the Census Bureau, and from other government agencies. I will also use certain symbols in this update so you quickly identify what matters. When I have written more information in an expert blog, which I'm sharing on the Knowledge Bank, a knowledge content library, there is this little icon here. If there's a link to an external website, you have the link here. It's a computer sign. If there's something really important to read, I want you to read, then there's a star, and then there are 3 stars if there's a special report. So every week expected to look like that for now. If you need a comprehensive executive summary of what we will cover this week, this will be on page 2. I will always give you information about what, in my opinion, were the highlights of the week. You will here, for example, see that obviously everything's about the 47th president of the United States and, of course, the significant amount of executive orders were published. So no surprise, we should be covering the America First trade policy. We also have had an impressive bill pushed through Congress or in the process of going through Congress, which many of you will have missed because it is not in the frontline news, but it is something that happened in Capitol Hill, which is the PNTR, the China's permanent trade, normal trade relationship status, which was coming under fire and can lead to the imposition of duties. What's interesting about this is that this is a bill with actual duty rates mentioned. So if that would come into operation, we would have something to work with, and we could already see what kind of tariffs would be imposed. So it is this kind of thing that doesn't make the headline news, but it is very important for customs officials, customs professionals. We have the External Revenue Service. Now, there's a lot talked about and very little substance. So we've written a blog on it so that you can, if asked, answer something insightful, something useful. So your boss comes to you and says, what is the external, this External Revenue Service? So you go and read this blog, and then you walk into the office of your boss to explain what it is. Yes? That's what's saving you time, rather than going through different sources, because we've done it. We will start this edition with 2 reports, special reports, to start this inaugural session. And one is on Trump 2 tariffs, an analysis of protectionism and global trade dynamics, which is the fundamental issue that is affecting the world trade with the US right now. So you should be briefed on this. So when asked, you can always competently talk about it. You should also, on a completely different subject, recognize that yesterday was International Customs Day. So henceforth, not everything is about the US, but International Customs Day affects the US as well. So we have a 2-hour celebration on YouTube. And it has expert speakers from academia, from industry, and from tech to talk about what customs means in 2025. Very insightful stuff, lots of US being mentioned. 2 hours today on YouTube for anyone to watch. That's pretty cool. So, summary here. Okay, next, table of content. So I've told you that these are all the subjects we look at every week, but not every subject makes it into this edition. The reason is there was no update on these subjects. So these are the ones that did make it this week. And so you see there are special reports. There is something about ACE. We got anti-dumping duty. We cover Congress and Senate updates. And you can click on these updates if you want to jump there directly. Cargo system, messaging service update, duty drawbacks, exporting out of the United States, FDA food-related updates, forced labor updates, Incoterm updates, presidential executive orders. So this is all the executive orders coming from the White House. Rules of origin update, Section 301, Section 321, true social announcement related to customs, trade, and policy by President Trump. Yeah, I don't want to look at that either, but what can I do? If he makes policy based on a tweet, which was a tweet, which is now a social, I suppose, then we got to cover it. So this is not a newsletter. I am not giving you a newsletter. You get trade intelligence. This is thinking. This is analyzing what we're having here, not just linking it. Valuation updates, World Trade Organization updates, World Customs Organization updates as well. 50 pages of content. And all I need you to do, seriously, it looks a lot, but I need you to spend 15 to 30 minutes. Basically, what I'm doing now is explaining you how you can very easily scan for something that's relevant for you. It has to be that long because it covers the whole week across so many different topics. So here's the first report. If you're interested in Trump Point 2, then you should be debriefed on all of these matters. So this is an exceptional report. It is not normally happening that long, but because this is so new and so important, we need to cover it. If you want to read more, you got 3 blog entries here that I have written over the last weeks to help you get familiar with what's happening. And we keep updating these expert blogs in our knowledge content library for you to read. So I don't need to be online. You can read it 24/7, 365. The second report is about International Customs Day. As I've said, there is 2-hour recording. Here are the highlights and the speaker details so you can see who spoke, right? So it is from the professors in the university to founders of AI tech. We've got it all because it matters to this International Customs Day. There was also a panel discussion, and that was quite heated. The questions are pretty tough, and you got to watch to see what they answered. Pretty cool. So you can watch on demand now. We're then moving into the updates. So following this on, the first update will be on the ACE, the automated commercial system, which, as you know, is your central platform where all the customs declarations are filed and managed and the messages are exchanged. You also know that the US CBP offers CSMS updates. Now, I know that you get them pushed to you into your mailbox and everybody can see this, but you got to remember, I am not creating something new. I am creating a consolidation of everywhere, all the updates everywhere in the web in one. There is nothing in this that is new that you couldn't find yourself. I repeat, all of this is available online. All I do is I bring it together and concise it so that you can get the update for the whole week across all these policy areas in one document. So henceforth, if you don't want to look through the CSMS updates, here they are as they relate to ACE. And you will have here very relevant information. That is it already. We are moving on to anti-dumping duty. The way this is structured is always the same. First, we're explaining you what is this section about. If you're not an expert on anti-dumping duty or countervailing duty or trade defense, here is a quick summary of why it matters. We also have more information here and here. We then move into the updates, and you will usually always start with the CSMS updates. So this might be a repeat from previous, but here you've got one on anti-dumping duty on slag pods. And This is for CSMS. You can click that, fine. This is the live link. You then have information about other things such as low-speed transportation vehicles. And here you see it. This is the news. It is hyperlinked. So you click on it and you directly go to the piece of news. But if you don't, because it is not that relevant for you, if you want a summary of it, you don't even need to click because an explanatory note is provided, which tells you everything you need to know. All you can see here summarized. So you can now quickly figure out whether this matters to you or not. If it doesn't, move on. Next piece of news. This is about brake drums from China and Turkey. If you're not doing brake drums, move on. AD investigation into large top-mount refrigeration freezers. Not us, move on. But maybe you're interested in trade remedy law in general. So then joining a webinar might be useful. Here are the links, all of this somewhere on the internet, but I moved it together so you can't miss it. It goes on, and here, what I provided earlier with the CSMS, here we have more information. If you're interested in slag pods, this will be really relevant for you. So it goes on like this, and it finishes with the resource hub. In our content library, we have 1,500 articles related to all matters of customs and global trade. These are 2 articles, or 1 article in this case, actually, that we think you should know that it exists. So if you're interested in getting a general information about ADD, here is a resource hub. We then move into Congress and Senate updates. And you can see here that this new bill that we were talking about earlier regarding the China situation and the removal of the permanent normal trade relation status is here. And it includes, as you can see, a walkthrough of the 60, 70, 80 pages of this bill. We have looked at it and we've summarized it for you. So if you are interested in understanding what it is about, here is the summary. If you want to download it, click here and you can download it from our file share, which is a file which is an extended version of yours, like you getting access to our files. And we are like an extended service to you. So all these documents from government have been uploaded to a shared file, which we share with you. So you can download this bill by just clicking. Then Customs and Border Protection update. So this is again CSMS related to CBP. And then all the good things that happen on CBP. Of course, the CBP Customs Bulletin Weekly is a key feature of it. Every week we have it. It's a new thing every week. And it is a must read for customs professionals, in my opinion. But you shouldn't have to open websites, scroll here, move there. We will put it here and you can click it. Now, there's one thing you will see, it's called In Case You Missed It. Now, this assumes that maybe you're not able, regrettably, to read the Customs Watch USA every week. So we include last week's news under In Case You Missed It. Why do we do that? It's because if you couldn't read it, you should have an opportunity to recognize what happened the week before. For the following week, we will replace that by last week. So it always rotates like that. And it gives you an opportunity to maybe not read it every week, but read it every second week, if otherwise it gets too much. So that way you'll always have the last 2 weeks covered in case you missed it. So here is everything before the 20th. That would still be under the Biden administration, but I wanted to show you how it works. Now on to classification updates. Here you've got all the updates that you needed to know. So harmonized systems updates 2501 to 2503 came through. We've combined them all. We're telling you all of the 3 updates in one. So if you're into watermelon, then you know this is important this week. Moving on, you've got stuff from the WCO here, this 47th session. And the resource hub is back if you're interested in interactive HTS tariff training. Just click here and the full course is available for you for no cost. There's a guide, user guide to HTS, perfect for people starting off on the HTS. We've got customs declaration updates. This is about low value shipments, and you know this is section 321 and the changes that are happening there. And if you want to know what happens with customs declaration and what it is all about and how do we file in the US, here are some documents that we've previously created, and you can check these out. These are all on our resource hub. The cargo system messaging service, here you've got all the updates in chronological order. So this is just to make sure you know that all of these were published, so you have a recognition. So you don't need to go there again. You have it all here. Now, partly this is replicated in other sections to make sure we've got it. Duty drawback, now there are not going to be that many updates, but it is an important opportunity to save money. So we have a section for it. If there's no update, we're just going to remove it. Here is a blog entry we created earlier. How does US duty drawback work? Click on it, read it, you know it. Then exporting out of the United States. This looks at the America trade policy because we have here sanctions and various other issues. If there's something on exporting unrelated to export controls sanctions, so we're not covering this here, but related to exporting, it will be covered here. And you see how this works. There is, in case you missed it, but there wasn't anything last week, so there's no content available. And there's the resource hub as well, and you can explore all the export articles we've published. If you're into food, you've got your updates here. We're going to move on a little faster now. If you are thinking about forced labor, then here's a major update on forced labor. So this is about CBP updating everyone on the forced labor issue. If you're interested in forced labor, then this is something you want to be reading. And again, everything is here in one document. If you're interested in Incoterms, again, this will not have news every week, but here's one that was quite interesting. The ICC published a barrier report on Incoterms, and we've summarized it, and it's right here. So you can read this and determine whether you want to read the actual document or not. And you just click here when you're ready, and you can download it or not. So again, no need to scroll the internet for it. We've got it, okay? And it gives you a summary, and it gives you some really practical stuff that might help you because it is written by a customs professional to customs professionals. So I am assuming that I know what you might wish to talk about or you might wish to need to know. And again, if you're interested in Incoterms and you want to train it, lots of articles have been written here, just a few of them that we've written to support you. Obviously, the presidential executive orders are significant this week, so we have picked the ones related to customs. We're starting with a summary of his speech in the World Economic Forum this week, and that also shows you we're not just going with what CBP or the law says, we're also looking behind that. So if there is a key speech or a key thing where you can understand the psyche of where we're going, then we will include this there as well. So the president's remark at the World Economic Forum summarized, and we try to get all the politics stuff out so that you will be focused on what matters to you. That's customs and trade policy. We also then have all very important that we think are important executive orders here. And of course, again, the focus for the second time now will be on the America First trade policy. So everything you need to know, we've covered it under export. We're covering it here again, just to make sure you've got it. Is all here. The different sections are addressed. So you will know immediately what is in it without even having read it. Rules of origin is an interesting one because there is a quick reference guide to rules of origin under free trade agreements that you can download. It's a really, really great table, which immediately tells you how you should understand the rules of origin under free trade agreements. I mean, I just think that's amazing. So if you don't know this and you have missed it, chances are you're not even going to find it. But here you've got it, okay? And this will stay there. So we're going to upload this entire thing onto our file share, and it will stay there. So, and you have access to all the archives, which means if you need to ever go back to it, you will be able to find it. Now, in the Trump 2.0 world, we need to know about the sections updates. So we need to about section 301, but also section 201, which didn't have an update last week, or section 232, which didn't have an update. So we didn't talk about it in order to save pages, but 301 is big, right? And this is an important piece of news that the USTR finds China's maritime logistics and shipbuilding dominance actionable under restrictive measures, no, not restrictive measures, but potentially imposition of duties under Section 301. Okay, so here are the key findings and what is the next step and what is the likely impact. So, and then a bit of background. Also, 301 case, a court case, quite interesting to note. 321 obviously has been in the news because of the de minimis, and so here we cover that, and we cover more information about the low value shipments. And if you are sending e-commerce goods to the US, this is very, very important to you, because if they lower $800 or make it more difficult, then your imports into the US are going to be affected. Okay. So again, if you don't understand what I just said, or what is this thing with low value shipments, then don't research it, read. Just read this and you will know what it is about. Then a very special feature, which is a bit cheeky. We are looking at the Truth Social account of Donald Trump, so you don't have to. Okay? And here's the big thing. This is just a perfect example of drama that's going to happen for the next 4 years. And us customs professionals, we need to take note, but don't let this narrative define our work. So an example of the wrong behavior, in my opinion, is to scream and go, oh, I need to research who did what say about Colombia and why is Colombia so important and we must talk about Colombia. No, the narrative on what we need to look at is not determined by Donald J. Trump, at least not that much. So if we have to deal with low value shipments, that is our priority. Nevertheless, to support your understanding of what happened, here is the explanation of what he did propose for Colombia. We have given his post here so you can read it. And we've given some explanation in more detail. Why? Because this is new. This is not something we've seen before. So we wanted to explain a little bit more what he proposed. And this could also be relevant for the future, for Mexico or for Canada. And then while we were finishing this, the news came in that there is a hold on tariff now, apparently because Colombia agreed to all the demands of Donald Trump. Whether that is so, I don't know. But the fact is we have updated that here. So you will know what happened. If you are now being asked about this, within 2 minutes, you can skim read this, understand it, read the official tweet post, without having to actually go onto the internet and doing it, and then read that it has been put on hold. So this is the magic of the update. Now, of course, if he tweets tomorrow, we gotta wait until next Monday because this published once a week. Okay, so we cannot react always to the latest and greatest things that this man creates. But in this, I wanted to show you how this looks. Okay, so here you can read more about this. Then USMCA trade agreements and trade policy. Again, we're explaining what this is all about. And for the third time now, we have a America First trade policy, but this time you can have a summary here from us and our opinion, and you can access the trade policy directly here. There's also a paper on supply chain resilience, which we summarize for you here. And there are also CSMS updates regarding USMCA. Again, this is here. There is a final interim rule, which is now in operation, which is very important. When there are interim final rules, then you need to take note. And so that has been published, and you need to know it if you're dealing with USMCA. And here are the key provisions. And if you wanted to get additional resources on it, then the final texts are here. So then we move into valuation, and there we actually don't have an update. Can you see? There's no update. But there's really interesting stuff that we've published in the past that we wanted to show you. So we just put the resource up here. And then there's information of the World Trade Organization, which is really interesting to read. And then, of course, because of World Customs Day, there is a special session here on World Customs Day and a joint statement, as well as resources from the 74th HS Committee. And that completes 50 pages of Customs Watch. And that is the Customs Watch as it is delivered to your inbox right now. Now, if you haven't received the Customs Watch in your inbox, then you're not on my mailing list. If you're not on my mailing list, you can't receive this update. So what do you do if you want to be on the mailing list, but you're not? So then you do the following. If you want to be on receiving the updates, you have to go to www.customsmanager.info. There are two websites, org and info. Because we're providing trade intelligence, it is info that you need. It is trade intelligence because I hope you agree what we are giving you is not a newsletter. This is not a newsletter. This is something where you do need some brain and willingness to read and understand. Trade intelligence. We track the regulation. You stay focused on your strategy. You will have the benefits of joining us here, the different topics that we cover, and this changes. This is still being worked on, right? So if you wanted to know about rules of origin, you can always click on any of these and you will get this information. The point I'm making before we go anywhere, here's the members area. So once you are a member, you will have access to our Knowledge Hub, the 1,500 articles, and the file share, where all the official files are updated. You can always subscribe here. This is a paid service. So you do need to invest a little bit of money, but it is very, very low fee. It is about $2, $2.50 maybe per day for a weekly update of 50 pages plus and a continuously expanding knowledge hub covering everything. Once you have access to the knowledge hub, there is no stopping you. And you can subscribe here and get the Customs Watch USA plus access to the Knowledge Hub. And the journey starts here. All you do is you put your email address here. You will then receive an email from me inviting you to do a survey. The survey takes about 5 minutes. The reason you need to do the survey is because this will allow me to send you emails based on the preferences that you have indicated. Not everybody might be interested in rules of origin or sanctions. So why should I send you information that you are not interested in? I want to make this as relevant as needed and possible so that this becomes an update that you really want to read. You will be asked to choose between these 3 magazines. This is the one we are talking about today, the Customs Watch USA. But obviously you can acquire this one, and this one. That would also make me very happy. You have an option to search our content library. As I said, 1,500 articles. And if you want to understand what are the things that we've published lately, here are some of the highlights. So you can click on this, for example, the duty drawback. And once you've done it, you will be able to see the article. Now, the articles look very similar. There might be a bit different here and there, but here's an idea of what you can expect. Now, if you're not subscribed, if you're not a premium user, if you don't have a premium plan, you will hit the paywall here. So you need to subscribe and activate your subscription. As I said, $2.50, €2 a day, something like that, at least at the time of the recording. In order to unlock this. And as you can see here, there are 8 parts, and you're getting the first one. So there's a lot for you to understand. And here you can see the kind of articles that we can publish. And here it continues on. And you can very easily just click on it and then see it. And you're already in now the content library, which I want to show you next. So in the members area, if you wait for it to happen, you can see here all the different benefits that you will get. Reading the customs watch, reading the export control watch, and going to our library and search. You'll also get access to the knowledge hub. So here you have the search function. So if you put in a buzzword such as Trump, for example, then you will get all the updates for that. So you'll see all the updates that we've covered on Trump are here, and they continue. So there's a lot for you to read. And you could do this with rules of origin. You could do this with valuation and the likes of it. And if you want the whole overview of the Knowledge Hub, then you can also click on this one, and then you'll get the full thing. So here are all the different things that we've published, and you can see that this goes down, 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 and in total, we'll be here forever. This just continues, continues, and continues, whether it's UK, whether it's EU, or whether it is US, all is provided here, 1,500 articles, and you can just type in here what you're looking for. And this is one way that you can empower yourself. And then the file share is also really easy. Once you have subscribed, you can get access to it, and it's very logically produced. Here is the Customs Watch USA, all the previous editions, then the documents associated with it. And you can see we're continuously updating these. And that way, it's like having a folder, access to a folder where all the news are stored. So you can access this individually and download the latest information that we have for you. Now, I will conclude because it's been almost an hour now, but this is the Customs Watch USA, and your journey starts by leaving your email address, then completing a survey, which will tailor the updates to you. So you don't click rules of origin if you don't want it. If you don't want information about the EU or the UK, you don't click it. So this way you only get what you want to read. You also get these 3 magazines, which you can get or not get. Everybody who signs up starts with standard membership. Standard membership is free, but has a paywall. Upgrading for $2 will mean that you will get everything unlocked, and you can empower yourself and save a lot of time. There are 2 things I want to close on. Still today, on the 27th of January, we are in 2024 prices for the premium subscription of some $2 a day. If you want this, lock it in before the end of the month, because from 1st of February, prices are going to go up. Second remark, you can try the Customs Watch USA for 30 days for no charge, and you can cancel without questions asked at any time. You'll still get the 30 days, even if you cancel directly after you bought it. It doesn't matter. That's 4 editions for you to try, 4 editions to read. If you set the timer for 10 a.m. Eastern time, and you block 30 minutes in your calendar at 10 a.m., that will be your reading time every week of the Customs Watch. And that way you start the week off the most empowered way I know how, with full knowledge. So what many of the hundreds of customers do that subscribe to our magazine, they know when they're coming out, and they're blocking in their calendar 30 minutes to review it and check the relevance. And the best feeling in the world is if nothing changed. If you can put the Customs Watch to a side and say, nothing for me to do. That is more beneficial than having lots of actions that you now need to take. So therefore, the Customs Watch is there to save you time. It is there for you to focus on strategy when the knowledge that you will always be in the know, that you will always know that we have worked 20 hours just to get you this. We looked at every website. There is hopefully nothing else that you could find that I haven't found. So that way, one to rule them all. One document is all you need every week. So log in the prices this week by getting a subscription. The other two magazines have a 7-day free trial, so you can check out one edition, and then you need to make a decision. For this one, 30 days, no question asked. And that is it. I hope this was very useful. Please do me a favor. Put in the chat now what you think about the Customs Watch, or email me at info@customsmanager.org if you have any questions. The final point I will make is this. We are currently looking for people that want to contribute to this, people that have an opinion. I'm not asking you to write, but give feedback. Tell me what's working and what's not working. So if you want to be part of our consultative committee on this trade intelligence, please get in touch. info@customsmanager.org. We want your input as to how we can make these magazines, the most relevant and useful for you. But we need your feedback and we need your opinion. What's working? What's not working? What can we improve? So the advisory committee is meeting relatively quickly. So please get in touch if you want to be part of it. That is it. The Customs Watch USA is officially launched. And I hope to see as many of you as possible on the 13th of February, the day before Valentine's Day, as we launch our downtown New York office. It is the most exciting thing for a while. We will be in New York and we are launching our office supporting European, UK, and American businesses through the Trump tariffs and making sure that you have access to the US market and that customs borders are not an issue. Hey, we've done Brexit and we helped many European companies stay in the UK, and we help many UK companies stay in Europe. So if we can do it for Brexit, we can do it for the US of A, despite the headwinds coming from Washington. With that, I thank you. I thank you for tuning in. Please get in touch. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget, get the Customs Watch USA, save yourself time, stay in compliance, and have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. See you all in New York. Bye-bye.